Hello, 7th standard. Today we are doing video session number 11. Right? And we have been doing transportation in animals and plants. And I have a complete little part of the transportation in plants, chapter 11. As we have done transportation in animals as structure of human heart, functioning of human heart, then structure and functions of blood, and then structure of kidney as urinary system or excretory system, and then structure of nephron, formation and disposal of urine. These are the topic coming under transportation in animals. Okay. Now the transportation in plants, it is as what is to be transported in plants. In plants, transportation should be done as water and food material. Water and food material to be transported. In what way? Food is prepared by the green plants by the process photosynthesis, and it has to be supplied to various parts of the plants. Same way, water is absorbed by the root system, by the root hairs, and it is taken up to the leaves for photosynthesis, because water is one of the raw materials for photosynthesis. Okay. Now this water, it is transported. This is the structure of root vein. Is it not? Now this root, say for example, you take this as a small piece of root. Now when you take a transverse section this way, we find structure like this. These are the root hairs. Okay. And then the center will be the vascular bundle. Vascular bundle as xylem. Vascular bundle as xylem and phloem. Okay. In that, xylem conducts water and phloem conducts food materials. Okay. Now this xylem conducts water as, see here, this is the structure of the root, that is called transverse section of root. This is called transverse section of root. Now these roots will have structure like this. The outer layer, it is called epiblema. Outer layer is called epiblema. Then following that is present a region called cortex, and it is formed of parenchyma cells. Cortex is formed of parenchyma cells. Okay. Then innermost layer of the root, it is the layer like this. This rough diagram only I am drawing, given in the textbook this diagram. Okay. This is called endodermis. This is called endodermis. So now this cortex is present as surrounding by that fully cortex layer. Okay. So now this structure is this, and then only this portion I have drawn this. I hope you understand. So now this is root hair. This is root hair, and this is vascular bundle where xylem is present like this. This is xylem. Okay, and then this forms the phloem. The green color that forms the phloem. I hope you understand. So now this is phloem and this is xylem. Xylem conducts water, phloem conducts food material. So now when this water is absorbed by the root hairs, idella soil. So when the water is absorbed by the root hair, idella water. When it is absorbed by the root hair, water enters it. Right? Then through the root hair cell, it is through this cortex, it is reaching the xylem. I hope you understand. Through the root hair, outermost layer epiglema, following that is the cortex. Cortex is formed of parenchyma cells, and then through the cortical cell, parenchyma cell, water is reaching the xylem. And this xylem, as I say, it is present like a pipeline. Water is absorbed by the root hairs and it is passed on through the cortical cells reaching the xylem. And this xylem is bringing the water up to the shoot system, then it reaches the leaf. And this xylem, it is arranged like a pipeline. Okay, now this xylem, it is as xylem trichates. Xylem, it is as xylem trichates and xylem vessels. Two types of xylem tissue, xylem trichates and xylem vessels. Now we have in a plant group as plant body called thallus, as lower group as algae and fungi, and then bryophytes, they are called amphibians, where they form both land, dual mode of life we say. First, younger primitive stage fertilization, it needs moisture to complete the life cycle. For fertilization to occur, these bryophytes plants should needs moisture. Okay, so it is as both aquatic and land plant. So they are called amphibious plant. And then next comes the plant group as pteridophytes, gymnosperm, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now these are seed-bearing plant and this is normally flowering plant. And these two are non-flowering plant. I hope you understand. Pteridophytes and gymnosperms, they are non-flowering plant. They will not have any flower. Instead, they reproduce by the formation of spores, asexual spores. Whereas gymnosperm, it is reproducing by sexual method, but it is not having like that of the flowering plant. And the seeds are exposed. They are not enclosed within the ovary, within the gymnosperm. So these two are seed-bearing plant. Understand very good. These two are seed-bearing plant. These two are non-flowering plant. I hope you understand. So now here in gymnosperm and pteridophytes, only trichates are present for the upward movement of the water. The water from the xylem, it is sent to the leaf for the process photosynthesis through the trichates. That is called xylem trichates. Okay. Whereas xylem vessels, it is present only in angiosperms. Xylem, it is present only in vessels are present only in angiosperms. I hope you understand. And xylem, it is a long pipeline-like structure. A long pipeline-like structure as, say for example, this is a trachea. This is the structure of a trachea, long pipeline. Whereas vessels, it is long pipeline, but it is wider than the tracheates. This is vessel. I hope you understand this. இப்போ ஒரு பெரிய சொல்லியிருக்கீங்களா, மல்டி ஸ்டோரி பில்டிங்கில் ஒரு தேர்ட் ஃப்ளோர்லேருந்து ஓவர் ஹெட் டேங்க்லேருந்து தண்ணி வரணும்னா பெரிய பைப்லைன் போடுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி திஸ் இஸ் ஃப்ரம் தி தண்ணி தொட்டிலேருந்து மேலே ஓவர் ஹெட் டேங்குக்கு பைப்லைன் போகிறது இல்லையா, அதே மாதிரி தான் ஃப்ரம் தி root system, the xylem is going like a pipeline, and it is around normally 4 types: xylem tracheates, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Okay, but these two are taking part in transportation of water, and xylem tracheates are present in all the 3 plant groups: Pteridophytes, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm, whereas vessels are present only in Angiosperm. Angiosperms are the flowering plants. I hope you understand. So this is for the xylem conducting water. And that can also be done by an experiment, as you take 2 beakers. Take 2 beakers. 1 minute. Take 2 beakers, A and B. Take 2 beakers, A and B, and then you take water. H2O water theriyumla. You take water. Okay, and then you take a big potato, even bigger than this. Take big potato and peel off the skin. Nalla thola purichidum, and then have a flat bottom, and then ஒரு நல்ல கேவிட்டி மாதிரி கார்வ் பண்ணணும். நல்ல தோண்டி சுரண்டி எடுக்கணும். நல்ல ஒரு கப்பு மாதிரி சுரண்டி எடுக்கணும். எது? இந்த பொட்டேட்டோவை. சரியா? That you keep here. That potato you keep here. This is a potato cup. Same way, இதுலயும் potato cup. Right? And then you take 5% sugar solution. You take 5% sugar solution in both the setup, both the experimental setup. You will take 5% sugar solution. Okay, and then you keep a pin. You fix a pin on it and note the initial level of the sugar solution. You keep a pen and note the initial level of the sugar solution. I hope you understand. Now leave the apparatus setup for a few hours. Then after some time, we find the level of sugar solution will increase. We will see that the level of sugar solution will be increased. That is because water from the beaker is absorbed by the potato and thereby increasing the level of sugar solution. And this phenomenon is called osmosis. This process is called osmosis. As osmosis is defined as movement of water molecules from the region of lower concentration to the higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Through a semi-permeable membrane. That is osmosis. I repeat, movement of water molecules from the region of lower concentration to the higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Whereas here the water is of lower concentration and potato cup is acting as a semi-permeable membrane, and sugar solution is of higher concentration. This experimental setup is for osmosis, right? Now when this root has, say for example, in the root cell, so in the root hair, now this is a root hair. In the position, now the 1 minute here. In the root hair, in the position that now the root hair செடிக்கு மேல போடுது. இந்த root hair இது soil water. Surrounding that is the soil water. Okay, 1 minute. This is a root hair. These are all soil water, and இது soil water. Water. இது root hair. Right? And within that, the content of the cell, root hair cell, that is called cell sap. I hope you understand. So now I say soil water is of lower concentration. Soil water is of lower concentration. Cell sap is of root hair. Cell sap na cytoplasm, nucleus and the structure la the full content cell sap. The cell sap of root hair is of higher concentration. So from lower concentration to the higher concentration through the root hair membrane, plasma membrane of the root hair, outer layer of the root hair membrane is acting as a semi-permeable membrane. That is that way osmosis taking place. I hope you understand. So that movement of molecules from the region of higher concentration to the lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane. This is experimental setup. Potato is acting as a living membrane. I hope you understand. Same way here, root hair cell membrane acting as a semi-permeable membrane. So, this experiment தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். That phenomenon is called osmosis. I hope you understand. So the next one is about the phloem. Next about the phloem. Phloem contains food material. Phloem contains food material. Okay. Now this phloem structure, it is having a cell called seed tube. A long elongated cell called seed tube, and it will be having structured seed plate with the dot. This is called seed plate. And then this cell seed tube, it is always followed by a layer called companion cell. Seed tube is always followed by a companion cell. And then other than that is the normal parenchyma tissue for phloem. These are all normal parenchyma tissue. I hope you are following. So I say phloem, it is formed of seed tube, companion cell, phloem, parenchyma and phloem fibers. Okay. Now this phloem seed tube, it is conducting the food materials. Food material, shall I? Food material prepared by the leaf, it is translocated from the leaves to various parts of the body. That is the function of seed tube. And this companion cell, it is a living cell which is activating the functioning of seed tube. That is for the phloem tissue. Okay. Now at the same time, this seed tube in pteridophyte and gymnosperm, they are called seed cells. Seed tube cholomato, they are called seed cells, and companion cell is absent. In pteridophyte and gymnosperm, companion cells are absent. I hope you understand. You have 2 minutes to at the session I will start. Okay. So here seed tube, it is as present only in angiosperm. Pteridophyte and gymnosperm, they are present as seed cells, and companion cells are absent. And then one more significant, nucleus is absent in seed cells. It is present only in the companion cell. I hope you understand. What do you know about phloem? Phloem conducts food material from the leaves to all parts of the body. So it is as two-way traffic. Stem acts as a two-way traffic to supply the nutrients or the food prepared by the green leaves by the process photosynthesis. Okay, and then seed tube is present in the phloem tissue of angiosperm, whereas it is called seed cells. And companion cells are present in angiosperm, absent in pteridophyte and gymnosperm. And instead of seed tube, in pteridophyte and gymnosperm, it is called seed cells. I hope you understand. And then this phloem, it is as phloem loading is preparation of food by the green leaves, and that is loading and uploading and downloading. When it is preparing, uploading, downloading the food material sent to various parts of the body. Whereas in xylem, it conducts water only in one direction, from the root hair to the green leaves. Whereas leaf prepared by the food prepared by the green leaf, it is sent to all parts of the body, so it is in upward and downward direction. In the significance of Nemaina Tenjikinum. I hope you understand. So this is for the transportation in plants. Completion of chapter 11. Chale, kapra number chapter 12. Just a minute. Yes, we'll continue reproduction in plants as chapter 12. Just now we have completed chapter 11. Now we will continue chapter 12. Topic is reproduction. What do we know? Reproduction. Reproduction is the reproduction. It is the continuation of the species or perpetuation of the species. Reproduction is the continuation of the species or perpetuation of the species from one generation to other. I hope you know that. So now this reproduction, normally it is of two types, as asexual and sexual reproduction. Reproduction, it is of two types, asexual and sexual reproduction. What do we know? Asexual reproduction as involvement of single parent. Involvement of single parent, whereas involvement of two parents in sexual reproduction. Okay, and then here no gamete formation. In asexual, no gamete formation, whereas here gametes are formed. No gametes formation in asexual, whereas in sexual gametes are formed. And then in asexual, no variation will occur, whereas here variation will occur. What is variation? In a family, when there are two children, both of them are not alike. They are, though they are children of same parent, characters are slightly differing. Whether it is good or bad, characters are changing. Yeah? That is variation. So here in asexual, only single one parent is involved and no gamete formation, and there is no variation will occur. Whereas sexual reproduction, two parents are involved, male and female, and gametes are formed and variation will occur. I hope you understand this. So this is the main part in reproduction as sexual and asexual. Okay. Now this asexual reproduction. First we will see asexual reproduction, then we will go to next. Now this asexual reproduction, it reproduces by different methods, different modes of reproduction in asexual. First, it is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. Propagation of spreading. Any part of the body when it is capable of producing into a new plant, that is vegetative propagation. And then it is under that it is fragmentation. It is fragmentation. Vegetative propagation, fragmentation. Okay. And then vegetative propagation, when it is when reproduction is to any parts of the plant, it is called vegetative propagation. And then fragmentation. Okay. And then third one, it is as cutting, layering, and grafting. What do we know? These are all methods of reproduction. Vegetative methods of reproduction. Cutting, layering, and grafting. What is it? Cutting any healthy part of the stem, when it is cut, it is capable of, and planted, it is capable of giving rise to a new branches. That is cutting. Then layering, same way. For example, this layering here, this is a normal plant where the root system, the shoot system, 1 minute, normal plant where this is forming a shoot system, plant will grow. Now any healthy branch of it is buried in the soil and then allowed to grow. This is called layering. I hope you understand. When any healthy branch of the plant is buried in the soil like this and allowed to grow, and then when this branch, new branch, is growing into a healthy one, it is getting detached from the mother plant. That is called the layering. So cutting any healthy branch நல்ல thick branch cut பண்ணி plant பண்ணாலே that will grow into a new plant. I hope you understand. Then grafting, it is a method of reproduction artificially where we need two branches as A, it is a plant, A plant, and then B, where whichever type of plant we need to graft it. Graft na otradu. So that grafting to be done, you have to take that branch from that. So here, this is A plant and this is B plant. This is B plant. Then it has to be tied like this. Then after some days, growth will be arising from the cut end of the plant. Now here, this is called stalk. In grafting, we come across two terms. The one which is to be old one, that is called stalk. It has to be attached. That is called scion. So grafting, we come across two terms, stalk and the xylem. I hope you understand. So cutting, layering and grafting, they are vegetative method of propagation, but normal we say it is artificial method of reproduction. Cutting, layering and grafting, they are artificial method of reproduction. I hope you understand. And then in fragmentation, example Spirogyra. Fragmentation, example Spirogyra, where two Spirogyra, it is a green algae with the spiral shaped chloroplast. It is a Spirogyra filament. Spiral shaped chloroplast. I hope you are able to follow this. So this Spirogyra, it is a unbranched filament with the spiral shaped chloroplast. Now when it is reproducing vegetatively, any part of the branch is cut. It is growing into a new filament. Spirogyra filament. During condition favors, this is growing into a new plant. That is fragmentation. Fragment bit that when it is made into bit, it is growing into a new plant. I hope you are able to follow this. Then next one, it is as in our book, it is given as plants growing with the adventitious buds. Plants growing with adventitious buds. Adventitious buds as one is ginger. I hope you can see this. Ginger. So now this is ginger where it has nodes and internodes. Now thick fleshy portion. So here it is giving nodes and internodes. In the nodes, in the space what I am holding is the internodal portion. So for any part of this ginger, when it is allowed to grow, that portion in the bud region, bud region. From there, it grows into a new plant. Or the root root. And adventitious roots. Adventitious roots. Like that, the ginger will propagate vegetatively. Adventitious roots. Ginger will produce adventitious roots from the internodal region. This is node. The two nodes it is developing into adventitious buds. Other than that, in the ginger scales line. Nodes and internodes. That represents nodes and internodes. So ginger propagate vegetatively. In our next book, ginger it is with the new plant sprouting from it. Okay. Same way, another one is potato. The potato in this water scar. The scar otherwise we say eye of the potato. The potato eye that is called sprouting of potato. Nama last year green grams sprouting. It grows into a new plant. Sprouting. Same way in Colocasia, in Colocasia, root has. Same way in the ring that is terminal region. Inge rendu water theriyudhu, inge one theriyudha turthingal. Adhe mari inge one irukka, adella lateral bud. Idu terminal region. இது ரெண்டும் lateral bud region. When it is left as it is, after 1 week it will start sprouting. I hope you understand. This is a method of vegetative reproduction. Okay. Same way in onion. Onion இங்க பாரு நிறைய roots தெரியுது இல்லையா, இதுலயும் you just leave it aside. இது நல்லா அப்படியே சுருங்கிண்டு இந்த நடுவுல இருந்து the leaves will arise. I hope you are able to follow this. So that is for onion. Okay. The next one, there is a leaf called bryophyllum. There is a plant called bryophyllum, where the leaf will be like this. Bryophyllum, the leaf will be like this. In our school we have this specimen, and lockdown முடிஞ்சோடனே காட்டுறேன். சரியா? Now in this, the margin of the leaf will produce plantlet. Margin of the leaf will produce the plantlet. Plantlet na small plants. So this is through the adventitious buds. That is through the adventitious bud. Plantlet. I hope you are able to follow this. 1 minute. Plantlet spelling partner. Plantlet. It is as plantlet. Plantlet. It is plantlet. I hope you are able to follow. So bryophyllum reproduces vegetatively by the formation of plantlet, adventitious buds. Okay. So here we know parts of the plant as root, stem, leaf, flower, fruits and seeds. Where root, stem and leaf are the vegetative part of the plant, and the flower, fruits and seeds are the reproductive part of the plant. And they can root, stem and leaf also capable of undergoing reproduction. That process is called vegetative propagation. Whereas flower, fruits and seed, they reproduce by sexual method. I hope you understand that. And then vegetative propagation, we have cutting, layering and grafting. Normally cutting, layering and grafting, they are coming under the group artificial method of propagation. Whereas natural method, ginger, potato comes under ginger, potato, corn, that is colocasia, and onion, they undergo vegetative propagation, and normally they are referred to as underground stem modification. Edella, ginger, potato, corn and onion. Ginger, it is coming under the heading rhizome. Ginger coming under the heading rhizome. Ginger as heading rhizome. Then potato tuber. Then colocasia na cheppangarandu. Colocasia coming under corn, and then onion coming under bulb. These are all underground stem modification, and they also reproduce vegetatively, and it is called vegetative propagation. And at the same time, they are called organ of perenniation. Perenniation of propagation. They are called organ of perenniation or propagation. I hope you understand. Then another method of vegetative propagation is fragmentation. Example, spirogyra. The spirogyra comes under. That is example. Okay. The next one, spore formation. Spore formation as in fungi. spore formation in fungi. There are different forms of spores as zoospores. Fungi reproduces with a different spore formation. They are called zoospores, aplanospores, zoospores, aplanospores, and conidiospores. Conidiospores. Okay. So fungi will reproduce by different kinds of spores as zoospores, aplanospores, and conidiospores. Zoospores are the typical example bread mold. Typical example bread mold. Another bread வந்து bread slice நம்ம சாப்பிடுவோம்ல, அது ஒரு 2-3 days டேபிள்ல வச்சுட்டு வந்துட்டோம்னா it will having a whitish layer அப்படியே பூஞ்சை படிச்சிருக்கு சொல்லுவோம்ல, அதுதான் ஃபங்கஸ். அதுல வந்து நிறைய black dots தெரியும். அந்த white பூஞ்சையிலேயே சில black dots தெரியும். அது வந்து zoospore. The black dots are called zoospores. I hope you understand. So that is for the zoospores, aplanospores, and conidiospores. I hope you understand. The next one, it is spore formation in another group called fern. Another group called fern. In fern, it is a pteridophyte. Fern is a pteridophyte ornamental plant. Now this fern will be having leaf like this. Having leaf like this. Okay. Now these leaves will have numerous dot-like spores. Every leaf will have numerous dot like this. These are called spores. Full the leaf line brown dot, smooth, and each dot when you take, it is called sorus. Each dot when you take, it is like this. That is called sorus. And sori. And each one is a spore forming structure. So that is spore formation in fern, which is a pteridophyte. I hope you understand this. The next one, as we know, it is yeast. Yeast will undergo asexual reproduction by the process called budding. This is the yeast cell. Yeah. So when it is capable of reproducing, there is a bud formation as a small protoplasm will be projected here. And then when it grows fully, it is getting detached from the mother plant. So then a chain of yeast cell will be forming. So this is yeast reproduction by the process called budding. I hope you understand. So here this is reproduction through spore formation in fungus. Bread mold சொல்லுவோம்ல அது. Then இது வந்து reproduction through spore formation in fern. இது இந்த leaf வந்து நான் இப்படி வரையேன். இந்த இது வரையேன் இல்லையா? That is through the spore. I hope you are able to follow this. And then yeast budding. Yeast budding வந்து first see the diagram. Yeast budding, first yeast cell, then a small projection developing bud na the cytoplasm protoplasm and the bud kulla oru bud na small projection, and then it is forming a new bud. Then when it is fully grown, it is getting detached from the mother cell. Like that chain of bud will be forming. அது ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா take a pinch of yeast and then place it in a container with some water. Chinna beaker la konja water eduthu pinch of yeast powder for this available in the bakery la kadakka. Then you just add sugar, 1 spoon of sugar in the water. Then leave it aside. After some time we find new yeast cell will be forming. Another one, it is changing ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ದೋಸೆ ಮಾವು conversion agilla fermentation process. This is nothing but the fermentation process. Okay. So the small bulb-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud. The bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms a new yeast cell. The new yeast cell grows, matures and produces more yeast cell. If this process continues, a large number of yeast cells are produced in a shorter time. This is called budding of yeast. Okay, and then this is bryophyllum leaf. This is bryophyllum leaf, reproducing by adventitious buds. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is asexual method of reproduction in plants. I hope you could understand. Then next is the sexual reproduction that we will continue in the next video session. I hope you follow. So what do you know to sum up? The root, stem and leaves are the vegetative part of the plant, and they also take part in reproduction by vegetative method. And then flower, fruits and seed, they are the reproductive parts of the plant and they undergo sexual reproduction. I hope you are able to follow. And then asexual reproduction, there is only single parent is involved and there is no gamete formation as male and female and there is no variation occurs. Whereas in sexual reproduction, it is involvement of two parents as male and female. There is a formation of gamete as male and female and there will be variation occurring. This is the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. I hope you understand. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம xylem phloem transport படிச்சோம்ல, அதுல என்னது difference between xylem and phloem? Xylem is a water conducting element whereas phloem is a food conducting elements. And then xylem vessels are absent in pteridophytes and gymnosperm. Only xylem tracheids are present. Whereas in phloem it is seed tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. And phloem seed tube will have no companion cell in the pteridophytes and gymnosperm. That is for the otherwise we say companion cell is absent in pteridophytes and gymnosperm. I hope you understand. So this is for the difference between xylem and phloem. Are you clear? And then we are discussing about the reproduction in plants as continuation of species from one generation to the other and perpetuation of the species. Otherwise we say it is the perpetuation of the species. I hope you understand. What else you can say? Just go through this topic. Go through the diagram first and then we will do. Are you clear? So we'll just, I am just summing up this. With that, we will complete this session. We will continue in the next session for sexual reproduction in plants. Thank you.